Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm just throwing together a quick video just to sort of help people who want to qualify at Best of the West. For those of you that don't know, Best of the West is a gun range located in Central Texas. They have a rifle range that extends out to 1,000 yards. To qualify on this range, you do have to sit down with a range officer and go through a little test, and so that's sort of what I'm doing here. If you look at the picture on the screen, this is actually a view through my rifle scope of the long range. And this includes the 500-yard range, 650, 750, and 1,000-yard range, just sort of staggering all the way out to 1,000. When you qualify, you'll be expected to hit the far left steel target at 500 yards and the far right steel target at 750. Now I want to cover what you should probably take with you if you plan to qualify at Best of the West. This is a photo of my typical shooting bench when I'm out shooting long range. Obviously, you're going to need a rifle and some ammunition. I would say choose a rifle ammo combination that you can consistently shoot about a minute of angle accuracy with or better. Now on top of this rifle, you're going to need a tactical rifle scope. And by tactical, I mean a rifle scope that has turrets that will allow you to dial your elevation out to at least 750 yards, or that has a reticle with subtensions that will allow you to hold over out to at least 750 yards. You're going to be expected to place hits on a target at 750, so it's important that you can get out there using your scope. Alright, you're also going to need some way to support your rifle. In the photo, I have a shooting rest and a rear bag. A lot of guys are using a bipod in a rear bag or a front bag in a rear bag, and Best of the West does provide these little wooden barrel rests, which you can see on the corner of my shooting bench. They tend to be pushed over to the side. Not a lot of guys are shooting with those, but if you'd like to try, they do have those for you to use. And finally, you're going to need a ballistic calculator. This is a must. So the RO is actually going to ask you where you're getting your ballistic information from as part of the test. You need to make sure that you have put in accurate data into this ballistic calculator and that you are verifying those results at different ranges. You are permitted misses during the test, but they need to be very narrow misses. And while we're talking about the amount of misses, the maximum amount of shots that can take place during this test will be 19 shots. So make sure you bring at least 20 rounds of ammunition. I would recommend bringing at least double that, personally. That way, if you pass, you can actually stay out there and shoot as well. Alright, so I just want to finish this video up by showing the actual form that you're going to get when you go to qualify. This top section here is basically just their expectation of you. If you want to pause the video and read that, feel free to. It kind of talks a little bit about what you can and can't do and a little bit about the test. What I want to focus on is actually down here. So the test is going to consist of shooting steel targets at 250, 500, and 750 yards. So at 250 yards, your steel target size is 10 inches by 16 inches. You're going to be expected to connect 3 shots out of a total of 5 tries. So if you shoot it 3 times right away, you don't have to continue shooting. You've passed that portion. But any misses that you have must pass within the target frame. Alright, once you pass that, most people do. That's a fairly easy portion of the test. Then you'll move on out to 500. Your target size is going to increase to 18 by 24 inches. So that's basically 1.5 feet by 2 feet. Once again, you have to connect 3 times, but this time you get 6 tries, and any misses need to pass within that target frame. Alright, so once you've passed at 500, you move on out to 750, and your plate size remains the same at 1.5 feet by 2 feet. And this time you get 8 attempts. You have to connect 3 of those. And again, your misses need to pass within that target frame. So you are permitted misses, but they need to be narrow misses. Flipping the page over here, we've got sort of the form that the RO is going to be filling out. This top section you can fill out yourself. You know, just the date, time, your name, rifle, and caliber. That's pretty basic stuff. Starting here, the RO is actually going to ask you questions. So he's going to ask you what type of ammunition you're using. If you're loading your own, you can just sort of indicate, you know, I told him I'm rolling 223 ammo, 80 grain Sierra Match King over mag length with varget powder. You know, that was good enough for him. But if you're just buying your own ammo, you could say I'm buying Hornady match ammo, 140 grain projectile or something, and that should be good enough. Type of scope, you know, in my case I told him SWFA Super Sniper, I told him the power, I told him it had a mil quad reticle, that was good enough. Type of turrets, adjustment method. So this goes back to when we were talking about holding over versus dialing your elevation. So in my case, I told them I'm going to dial for elevation and hold for windage, and I told them my turrets have a click value of 1/10 of a mil, and that was good enough. Then they ask you your ballistic information source. So this is what we were talking about, making sure you're getting accurate data from a ballistic calculator. So in my case, it would be the Vortex Long Range Ballistic Calculator. There are many out there, but they just definitely want to see that you're using a ballistic calculator and not just shooting blindly. All right. Down here is the actual shooting portion where they will score you and any comments, and then they will sign it and turn it in back to the cashier. Immediately, the RO will pull something like this out of their pocket, fill in your information, and hand it to you. And of course, I laminated this so it wouldn't get torn up. But basically, this is going to permit you to come back and shoot on that long range. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. I don't want this to run on too much longer. Hopefully this was useful, and good luck with your qualification.